Welcome everyone back to PommyinOZ. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. We are absolutely churning out the subscribers and I can't thank you enough for your love and support. If you want to become a member, do that. Link is in the description. You can do that. It costs just a cup of coffee and you can get yourself into some really good content. We've got some real good content coming up for members only as well, starting off in the weekend. So get involved in that. Welcome to the new members as well. We've had absolutely loads.
But first,
an ad.
Firstly, a huge shout out to the sponsor of this show, CarltonCoin.com.au. Good friends of the channel. You all know him, Ugur, legendary Carlton fan, and he is offering you all 10,000 free airdrop just for watching this video by going along to CarltonCoin.com.au and just entering your details here. But wait, it gets better. If you're a member of Blue Abroad, my show, PommyinOZ, or the Jumper Punch, you upload the screenshot of your membership. You'll have that little icon on as you comment and upload it here. You'll get an additional 10,000. There'll also be more 10,000 tokens going through. And these are all for free, no obligation. So you've got some little support off the field so you can support the boys in the crypto world. There is some exciting things going with crypto. So it's something that you can just get involved in, have a little bit of fun, have a bit of a play around and get yourself familiar before you commit to anything long term. Head on to Carlton Coin on YouTube, where Ugur will take you through step by step what's entailed, any risk factors associated should you want to purchase more. Remember, these are totally free and there is no financial transaction required. These are just a gift from CarltonCoin.com.au and Ugur himself personally to people who watch the show. So without any further ado, let's get back to Pom in the studio, who covers the review of the game just gone. Thank you very much. Peace, love and light. Over to you, Pom. The Blues on the back of a very, very impressive and a very, I wouldn't say easy, but untroubled victory versus North Melbourne in our Good Friday clash at the Marvel. The Blues running at 56-point winners in a game played in good spirits and good old-fashioned high-scoring football. In a game that really, for me, the Blues had to win and had to win comfortably. The Blues winning the disposal count, the inside 50 count, the contested, the uncontested, the intercepts, the marks, the tackles, and the forward 50 tackles. Losing in that centre and that stoppage again. The Blues, though, really setting that blueprint of that real tough inside, real contested brand of football that is really high pressure. Absolutely dominating 76-55 in tackles and creating heavy chains. 76 points scored from Carlton's turnover, which is absolutely incredible for me. And it really shows where Carlton are at for me as a football side. But more importantly, how strong they are around the ground and how this brand has really started to take shape over the last season and a half, that we're starting to see what we stand for. And what we stand for at the moment is good, honest, hard work and hard footy. And although we lost around the stoppage and the clearances, we did score 42 points. We were -2 on that. They did score more. But Carlton really now are starting to have more of the identity of a side that is, dare I say it, a flag winner as opposed to anything else. And I think what really typified that kind of style of football is Mr. Jack Carroll scoring an absolute wonderful goal. But again, Carlton really pressured their back half of the ground north. They made them rush the kick. And with the way that their wings and the halfbacks worked both defensively and offensively, it created the outnumber. North couldn't hit targets. They had to go and only take the more dangerous avenues on. And before you knew it, Carlton had forced the turnover. Bang, there's the goal. Carlton move on and scored, for me, what was probably one of the more exciting styles that we've seen for a long time. And I think a big part of that is how Carlton work. They've definitely changed their methodology around the stoppage, and we're starting to see George Hewitt, 12 scoring chains today. He was involved in a team high 9. 6 tackles. He's becoming really the predominant ball user and piffing that out the back of the stoppage and trying to make things happen. And what that shows there is Carlton are starting to create, with this more marauding style up forward, easier shots at goal, which is really interesting. I find when you look at Carlton that they are starting to really give the avenue to kick goals, and kick goals in clusters, but more importantly, kick goals where it is more conducive with scoring. And Carlton's ability at the moment to hit targets deeper in the entry, more further forward, in the higher catchments of Carlton's ability to score goals, the higher catchment of the AFL averages from score shots, is because of Carlton's ball movement. And what we're seeing is play the ball on quickly, keep the ball moving, and this plays into Carlton's strengths but also their weaknesses as a football side. We had a 1.6 goal kick to handball ratio, which is about where we see Voss, but Carlton's ability to be 66% from inside 50s to become a shot at goal, but then more importantly 44% of inside 50s becoming any form of score. These are better numbers from Carlton because they're having shots at goal in the areas, and what that's doing is because it's very short, it's condensed, it's short, sharp, and Carlton are looking to make the game happen. And it's no surprise that this season we've averaged over 60 points from turnover. We are starting to become a very dangerous side in that avenue because in the end of the day, this is where Voss has really looked for it. And when you've got 76 points versus 36 points in turnover, that really shows you what other sides we're always compared to. That shows you what Carlton have really worked hard on this year. And they have really looked to try and pay a heavy price. Now, it should be talked about that Carlton also made them lose, in my opinion. I've looked back at that game today, and them free kicks were there for North. And I think the umpiring was over-umpired at times. But that just shows what Carlton's pressure, but their ability to starve the opposition of good ball. And I want you to look back at 2018 Carlton. When we were baby Carlton and we were still in the foundations of where we were, you really did see with the boys this ability to break rank and really implode and really damage their own hard work in-game because of the opposition pressure. And what Carlton have managed to do here is start to turn that on the opposition by basically overpressing them and forcing them to make issues. And this really says to me that this side are a dangerous side with all the tools, because there's still, in my opinion, 3 players missing from this side that make us the complete side. I think we lack a Jack Martin type. I think we lack a Jesse Motlop, another out-and-out dangerous forward that gives them a little bit of issues. But also I think we miss Sam Walsh, which is another changing point, because at the time Carlton are really trying to manufacture, and I think that's a big part of our stoppage and clearance game, that we are trying to manufacture it. But what you've started to see is Carlton be a lot more defensive from this side and a little bit more safe. And you see this handball out the back to where there's a lot of players stationed to defend any potential, where before it was really rambustious. And what you saw when Carlton win out the stoppage and the clearance was a very wasteful inside 50 entry because there was no runners. Now they're trying to move as a pact and as a core contingent. And this is a real exciting time for me, because that kind of system gets you the narrow wins against the top clubs, but it also gives you the ability to destroy clubs at the very, very outset. And Carlton are really starting to prove that as a football side. And I think what we're starting to see is because of this more methodical, short, sharp movement going through the corridor, you're starting to see Charlie and Harry absolutely exploit their space, and they are separating and isolating. And we're starting to see Harry get isolated a lot, which is what Tom Hawkins does at Geelong, and it's something that they benefit from. A team that, because they play on a narrow ground, really attack the corridor, and Carlton is starting to benefit from that. And this game style now is really built around the strings that the Blues have in their bows and not trying to sing to a hymn sheet of other sides. And I want to talk about Elijah Hollands, who, for me, this week, he really did play that David Cunningham role. But you saw the difference of class and his ability to swing there. And I was watching this thinking, if you replace Kennedy with Jack Martin, Jesus. Then you had Sam Walsh into that. But Elijah for me is one of my favourite players, and you know what? I would say he's probably third in my all-time draftees ever since coming there. And the big thing with him is his ability with possession, but his ability to be one-on-one, his ability to be strong in the air, but also his ability to execute that right pass at the right time. And we saw that many a time this game. In a side that I think defensively, North's only hope is the counter-punch, I thought we negated that, and I thought Elijah was fantastic at tracking Zach Fisher down. Matt Cottrell was fantastic and forcing them to kick quickly. The same with Shees, the same with Colby McKercher. Really hemmed them in. And what that allows Carlton to do is control the narrative from the midfield. And when you can see Carlton playing well, you see the halfbacks station where Blake Acres and Ollie Hollands used to be in the attacking sense last year. Almost 75 out on the wing from goal. Ollie Hollands and Blake now are in the 50. Suddenly that's a real deadly position. And Carlton are starting to formulate something. I really think, although that wasn't an A-grade perfect performance, what you saw out of that was a side that is really starting to bite its teeth. And I think that for me was a better performance than when we played West Coast Eagles, where we all got excited last year. I think what you saw this year from the boys was it's really controlled. They were never threatened. They kept them at arm's length. And they're a decent side. They're a decent side, North Melbourne, because we saw them run Freo close until the fourth. Carlton really kept that pressure, but then they kept the pressure up, and then they kept fighting the pressure, and then they went up and went again. And all in all, I think we'll look back at that and see that the boys have got to execute. This turnover intercept game is something very new to the Blues. And when you're almost plus 40 more from that scoring method in 3 games, that shows you how much work and ethic. And there was so much said in the preseason of their little drills that they were doing, them almost like ice hockey drills with a handball and getting it through the corridor. We're starting to see that benefit. And you know what? That screams Sam Walsh. Sam Walsh will have watched this game today and say, I can have 45 touches in this. I can have 45 touches and take the game away. All in all, I'm really impressed with how these boys are starting to play. And big shout out to TDK. I thought today was a real tough ask. I think Tristan Jerry is probably one of the most underrated ruckmen in the league. He's a real awkward customer as well. And I thought to break even almost on hit-outs was very good. And although he lost the clearance battle, his ability to get the ball moving forward, and that's a big sign with Carlton. The metres gained in them guts areas are really spread, and Carlton are looking to play on at all avenues. Really plays into what they are. And 5 goals from Harry, 4 from Charlie. Suddenly we've got 3 goals and 2 goals from Corey Durden and Owies respectively. Suddenly this side is a very dangerous side. I mean, especially when all the mids have kicked goals this game. It's dangerous. It's dangerous, and I think the signs are good, and I feel like we're a lot better. I think if we played our side last year, as we saw with Brisbane, who have a very manic turnover game, I think Carlton are in good stead. I mean, them 200 pressure ratings keep popping up. So all in all, I'm really happy with the boys, and I can't wait to do a little bit of a stats corner with you on Monday. But much love, everyone. Please make sure you like and subscribe. Please look after yourself. Please, if you want, make sure you give Ugur a follow. Thank you very much for sponsoring this segment of the channel. And until next time, Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella